Hi everyone. What I'm looking at today is a new NetScope installation. So this is a new NetScope installation on a link that I had never looked at before. So I wanted just to show you how I would first go about looking at a new link and how I would look at the information that I'm seeing and how I determine what's going on. So it's relatively easy with NetScope. So it's a very simple tutorial. So what I'm looking at here is a live view of traffic as it passes through the network. So this is we're looking at a 1 minute time period, and it's updating every 5 seconds, but we're actually every data point is a second. So this is per second visibility of the traffic as it's passing through the network. So let's have a look at what type of traffic is passing through this network. Well, I've selected on the link, and I'm going to have a look at the network views over here. I'm going to have a look at top traffic classes. Okay, we can see that it's the voice over IP traffic is currently, during this minute, causing the most amount of traffic. So that's a big segment there. So that's interesting. What we can do is you can click on that segment, and that'll bring up just the voice over IP traffic. So all we're looking at is the voice over IP traffic right now. We can see that it's roughly 400 to 500 kilobits on the way in and 800 to 1000 on the way out. We can have a look at top destination addresses. Okay, so this is an internal IP address. I know for this particular network that that's an internal IP address. And so that must be the destination, the distribution server for the voice over IP. So that as voice over IP comes in, it hits this server and then is distributed to the internal phones. And on the outbound, click on the outbound, and what we can see here is the majority of the traffic is going to this one IP address, which is likely the ISP's distribution server for voice over IP. So we've got traffic passing just between those two devices, external server and the internal server. Okay, so I'll move on from that. The next thing I want to show you, which is generally interesting, is the web traffic. Now if we look at the web traffic here, this is in the live view of the web traffic, but I've had this box running for about or maybe 30 minutes. So just look, if we look at the hourly view, yeah, there we go, 30 minutes. We can just select this time period here, and we can then have a look at what the top traffic classes for this time period was. Firstly, we'll do that, still voice over IP, and there's web, so there's quite a bit of web traffic there. If we've just selected the web traffic, then have a look. So this is the activity for the web traffic during that time period. What I can look at is the top HTTP domains. Now that gives us the websites that were looked at during that time period. So this is the half an hour time period, and we can see all the websites that were viewed during that time period. So we've got a media download, who knows what that is. There's a few different sites here. We've got a news site here, videology group. So we can see all the different websites that people are visiting. What we can then do is we can drill down on each segment. So if I drill down on this media download, click on this segment here, that'll bring up the window just for that segment. And we see that there's about maybe a couple of minute period where this traffic was created. We can further drill down on that and find out where that was going internally. Okay, so we can see here there's a PC or a Mac internally that has created this traffic. So if this traffic was a problem, you could go to that particular user and say, look, that this is not really traffic that we should be using. You know, maybe redirect them or whatever your internal policy is. You could, with NetScope, you could shape that traffic. So if this was traffic you were worried about, you could lower the bandwidth that this traffic is allowed. Okay, so if it's important traffic but it shouldn't be flooding your network, you can reduce the amount of traffic that particular web class is allowed, or you could block it entirely. So I could block this traffic based on this URL here. I could block it based on the F2. If it's the F2 domain entirely I want to block, I can block it based on that. So you can do URL shaping and URL blocking based on URLs, and you can use wildcards too. So you can select parts of the domain or specific parts of the domain, or you can select the whole domain by using a wildcard such as star. So what we can also see here is what I want to show you is we can see the amount of traffic that has passed through this network for this time. So in megabytes we can see that this mediadownload.f2.com.au has used 7.149 megabytes during this period. Now that's not a lot. This is a small network, so that's not a lot, but on larger networks, you know, that can be gigabytes. So here we've got a breakdown of all the different sites that people are using and the amount of megabits that they're using. We can see here, interesting, we can see Facebook. It's very common to see Facebook on networks these days, as well as YouTube and all the other social networks as well. So that comes down to, you know, the policy of your place, of your network, and what you want to allow and what you don't want to allow. And it's very easy to control with NetScope. This has been another NetScope presentation. Thank you for your time.